Monday! Hello, 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 happy Monday! I'm of the devil, straight up morking it, and by it, let's just say that's how I'm feeling right now. Hello, everybody. Oh my god, I'm sorry, I got hit with the EP beam. I got hit with the EP beam today. I am streaming a little bit earlier, like an hour earlier than when I put it on my schedule because Lanny has to be somewhere at like I have to leave the house at like 2:15 my time. So I was like, okay, well, I should probably stream earlier so I could get at least as much time as I can. Because it would either be that or I would stream and then there would be like a 30 to 45 minute wait and then I'd be back. Which I don't think anybody wants that. I don't think anybody would like that. I think that would be bad. But hello everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Caught you in the crossfire shooting the EP beam. Yeah, what the freak, dude? You got me. It's usually on the days where I don't have my Earth job that I am my EPiest. Like, my body has already woken up because I get up at like 3:30 for Earth job. So like I'm usually like pretty awake by this time. It's on my days off where I'm like oh. I don't know why. I also got hit with the gravelly voice beam as well today. So hopefully the morgues will be good. I'm going to struggle very hard with Sarah though. I can feel it in my bones, but I just tried to take a drink of my water bottle and I completely like missed the straw. I'm really glad you guys didn't see that. That was really awful. Cause I have like a really big Stanley cup that I got last year. And you know how like the straw is like on one side? I completely missed the straw, went to the other side and found that there was no straw there. So that was really cool and fun. Been a significant amount of yesterday of sleep cuddling with cute girls in VR. Holy shit, Jamie. Let's go. That's fire. Okay, I am going to start. We just got to the trial. Oh yes, and she's here. Oh god, my voice is gonna die. Yeah, we just got to the trial. I'm very excited to start. All right, you guys ready? I'm ready. Gonna crack my knuckles. Let's get into it. Okay. Now let's crack open those opening statements and get this case summarized. Gladly, Your Honor. Dude, hold on, Emma's gonna go hard today. People of the court. The defendant in this case is a man named Sosuke Ikariya. He was found at the scene of the crime where two men were shot to death. One was stabbed in the neck, another had their skull bashed in, and a police officer was impaled to the back with a sword. Whoa. Oh my god, the stocks! Also, let me know if the audio levels sound okay. Love this trial day. Love every trial day of the devil. True. I love my gambling day. Cop killer piece of shit. Please pardon any outbursts from the gallery that your mics may inadvertently pick up. Now, I understand that the scale of violence on display here today may intimidate you, but I want to stress that to all of you now, that your responsibility here today is neither taxing nor complex. You will hear testimony, you will be shown evidence, and all of it will point towards the truth. That the defendant is the only individual who could have possibly committed these crimes. The only one who could have possibly committed these crimes. The only one, I say. You're right. You're so right, Emma. That is a simple fact. And the only one you need to concern yourself with. Oh, she's as cold as ice. But every ice age beckons a kindling. Whereas ashes call to cinders and embers form champions. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Emma did stick to cold logic, so if I follow her with more of the same, it'll end up falling flat. This gallery will never warm up to us, but that can work to our advantage if the jury comes to see these cops as witch hunters eager to start a fire. Uh-oh. Choose the most outlandish words you can. Go for broke. Great. It's not like masters never taught me anything. I know how to do the razzle-dazzle. Get me out of here! I'm sorry. I'll lock in. I'm sorry. My fellow citizens, you are brought here today because an act of violence took place that could only be described as... bloody? We're gambling while our GF is playing chess. Yeah, basically. I'm gonna say bloody. Bloody. I should know. I was there. I saw the blood on the ground, the bullet holes in the walls, felt the malevolence, unease, horror. Horror? Felt the horror that radiated in the air. And I also saw where my client was held prisoner. And I knew exactly where he must have stood, because his sweat and blood had stained the tile. My client, a decorated veteran, the man you see standing next to me here, not even fully healed from his torture! Was taken into police custody with lacerations, bruises, internal bleeding, broken bones. And while he was in police custody, he somehow sustained a black eye, a busted lip, a broken nose, and a boxed ear. She's giving us the... Really, bitch? A puzzle which I'm sure any one of the officers in the gallery today would be happy to testify about. Ooh! Gotta let us say that? You want me to object during an opening statement? Much is resting on the outcome of this trial. 5 men lie dead in the morgue. One of them, a police officer, Tariq... Don't speak as damn you Bob lawyer, bitch! Hey, Bob! Hey, you too! This is... Hey, we like to have fun in this courtroom, put on a good show, but that's because we're on the stage. Any more outbursts from the gallery and I'll clear the entire room. You can all watch the rest on your phones or peek through the keyhole like a bunch of sweaty looky-loos. Counselor, let's wrap this up. Yes, Your Honor. The fact of the matter is, on that night, my client was not in any condition to kill anyone. Not four hardened criminals, and certainly not a trained police officer. Did I do it right? And nothing about my client's background, his associations, or that of the victims can change that fact. So as you listen to all the evidence in this trial, with fairness and impartiality, as I know you will strive to, I only ask that you focus on the reality of this horrible crime, and not on the fiction that the people will try to weave for you. Thank you. Decorated veteran? You telling me you never earned a single commendation? Most push-ups of the day or something? Never mind. I suppose it could have gone much worse. You're too kind. I was trying to be honest. The crowd got agitated, but you maintained a level head and recovered your tempo. Adonai is a master at doing so. I've seen her make comebacks from the most nonsensical mistakes before. Wow. In martial arts, they call it an ukemi, a graceful fall. That is basically correct. Well, try not to gracefully fall over when you see the first witness on the docket, Sosuke. What do you mean by that? Oh? Your name and occupation, for the record. Oh, shit! How... Should I? Hold on. I don't know if I'm gonna use this one. Because he's a hologram. How can that be necessary? If some blathering idiot in that courtroom doesn't already know who I am, they don't deserve it. I know. But would you consider it, if only for the sake of ceremony? ceremony is important and should be respected. Very well. I am Makoto Ikaria of House Ikaria. My occupation is that of a student. Try not to look so smug about it when you blatantly lie. Right, of course. And your position with the Ikaria Financial Group? Is not salaried. Must I really declare it here? Hard to imagine why the noble house of Ikaria is getting audited. Sosuke, are you alright? Can he see us? He can see me, Rockford, and the adjutant. Witnesses teletestifying don't really need much else. So he's safe? Yes, Sosuke, he's safe. Like he was yesterday. Probably sitting right where I left him. Or standing on a box. Damn! He's so little, he's the littlest ever. I think the hologram's given him a boost so he can see over the stand. That's good. The boost to his height? That he's safe at home. I'm sorry that he can't see you, Sosuke. Don't be. After how horribly I failed him, Damn. I'd like you to speak a bit about the events of August 13th. About the last time you saw the defendant, Sosuke Ikaria. I'm here today, not physically, but here, nonetheless, as a courtesy. That does not mean I will flap my gums like some sort of flapping gum puppet. Permission to treat the witness as hostile incoming. Emma Rockford raking a spoiled brat over the coals. This all must be worth the price of admission alone. Your gay ass. I understand. It was a traumatic experience, I'm sure. Anyone of normal upbringing would barely be able to recall a single detail, let alone the day's full events. Normal upbringing? I should probably dismiss you so you can get back to your summer studies. Summer studies? Like some common waif? Waif? That's quite the vocab pull. I didn't know they taught that in State Basic. Basic? Was I mistaken? Listen well, Madam Rockford, as I demonstrate to you exactly how misguided you are about my powers of retention. Please do. Played like a damn fiddle. Why wasn't she mentioned during any of our trial preparations? Oh, who is she? Who are you? There she is! They're both there! Emma, look, it's your twin! I forgot that Emma has a birthday close to mine. Queen. Exercises by... Subject seemed to not hear the question. Yeah, fuck exercising. Who wants to exercise? Not me. I love her. Adonai has only won against her once. So far, every hot streak starts somewhere. Hot streak? I really am going to prison, aren't I? Where shall I start? As far back as you can. A simple task. For the past year, members of the organization most commonly referred to as the Blue Blood Mafia have been making attempts on my life. Did you steal their lunch money or something? I am the primary beneficiary of my grandfather, Daisuke Ikaria's will. In common parlance. Parlance? Shit. I am the sole heir to the Ikaria Financial Group. You could buy so much lunch? The group you know as the Blue Bloods have been jealous of my family's financial foresight for decades. I am merely the most recent target of their impotent intents to nip at our heels. And 2 days ago, on August 13th, how impotent was their attempt then? I was leaving a meeting held on the upper floors of Crane Tower. My security detail escorted me to the elevators. We would then proceed down to the canopy access floors. Dog, my lawyer keeps making googly eyes at the prosecution. I'm going to jail. Dude, this is my heated rivalry. This is all planned out in advance?
by my head of security, Sosuke Karya. But the elevator became stuck, with unnatural timing. When Sosuke pried the doors open, we saw that we were stuck between the 62nd and 61st floors.
Pried open? With a tool?
Leading the witness, Your Honor. He didn't need a tool to open the doors. His bare hands were more than sufficient.
Help Sosuke out here, kid. We submitted to evidence the defendant's Akita Type 2 military-grade spinal mod, designed to enhance strength, endurance, and reflexes for high-intensity combat scenarios. Yes, sir. It is so admitted. What happened next?
The decision was made that we would crawl out into the 61st floor and head for the service elevators. But once Sosuke and I exited, the elevators started up. It was a trap. We had been cut off from the rest of my detail.
You were isolated and defenseless. That must have been...
Ha! Hardly defenseless. You really think my personal head of security wouldn't be armed? He had Yoru.
The sword's named! That's so cute. Don't tell me. You named your sword? All great swords have names.
Thank you, Sarah. Very well put.
That's so cute! Ooh. Sosuke's sword. Lay woman found at the scene of the crime film. Emma! Look at her in the background. Sorry, I get distracted. Identified as Makoto by Sosuke's personal sword Yoru, taken along with Sosuke down to the yeah. With a murder weapon, I had to wipe Prince off before taking my leave. It was indulgent trying to take Trey's head off. Wasn't my only indulgence either. Oh yeah, we already read that. Yeah. This is new though. The yellow text is new. Let the record show that the witness has identified Exhibit B3 as belonging to the defendant. This sword was recovered by the police in a known blue blood den in the lower wards, found impaled into the body of Tariq Chopin. Forensics has shown that the only fingerprints on it are those of the defendant.
There's still time for you to disown it, Sosuke.
You understand nothing about a swordsman's heart, Adonai.
Once again, it is your paralegal that has the right of it. Perhaps she should be leading my defense. If this somehow turns into a fencing competition, I'll gladly defer to you two.
So you, Sosuke, and Yoru were on the 64th floor together. What happened next?
When we arrived at the service elevator, Sosuke called them, and they made a chime. And I didn't clearly see much of what happened next, to tell the truth. Figures emerged from around the corners. They were aiming weapons at me. A red dot shone on my chest. And then Sosuke was there, and a needle was sticking out of his arm. Yoru glinted. Sosuke had drawn it in the blink of an eye. Something glanced off it and dropped to the floor. I saw a syringe at my feet. Yoru's sheath was thrust into my arms, pushing me back into the elevator, and I landed on my... rear.
I love... That's clearly a key piece of testimony. Let's play it back 5 times!
What matters is he pushed me back into the elevator with Yoru's sheath. How I landed is irrelevant and should be stricken from all public records. The only other thing I saw was Sosuke's back. He slammed his hand against the elevator's control panel and then the door shut.
That's the last time you saw the defendant?
The decision was made that I should get on a VTOL as soon as possible. Much of my details stayed behind to assess what had happened.
Yes, they were very helpful to building security and recovering Exhibit 5C, this hypodermic needle gun. Wait, go back! Wait, go back! Go back! Go back! Needle gun! Mm-hmm. Right. Top mines. Okay. Also 80! I love. Dude, she's tall as fuck! Fave quote, let he who is without sin play first or draw first. Whoa. Pineapple on pizza until proven guilty. That's really funny. That's really funny. Hey, shopping carts always return? Damn. She's a good soul. What kind of bonehead would leave evidence like that behind? A bonehead in a rush, perhaps, Your Honor. It does appear to have exhausted its gas canister, so it may have outlived its usefulness. I take it that this weapon is a match for the projectile needles found in the room where my client was restrained? Correct. Others exactly like them were recovered from the scene of the ambush as well. Oh boy! Makoto, did you see the faces of the men who attacked you?
Ha! All too clearly. I can tell you every detail of their roughshod countenances.
That sounds like a good bit of testimony! Hit it! Okay. Oh, okay. Me does. Yoru.
A pineapple head-like man and a raincoat-clad hooligan came at us first. They aimed at me, but Sosuke got between us and blocked every shot. With Yoru, he could have closed the distance, but then a dark-eyed scoundrel approached from the right. And a man with a ridiculous pompadour took advantage of that distraction. I'll never forget the faces of those cowards. They tried to kill me. So whatever happened to them afterwards, I'm sure they deserved it.
Okay, I'm guessing, they weren't trying to kill him, they were trying to sedate him. At least that's what I remember.
Makoto's putting his talents for hyperbole on full display. I'll have to fact-check his description in order to get the ball rolling.
Okay. Let's try... Call, baby. Needles. Woo! What a bet, bitch! Oh! Hell yeah. I feel like my detective skills have leveled up.
They couldn't have been trying to kill the witness, not with non-lethal projectiles.
They fired a lot of them. The witness doesn't weigh that much.
Don't try it. His attack was clearly planned with the intent of capturing Makoto alive.
Meaning what? That 4 of this case's victims were actually soft-hearted pacifists?
There's nothing soft-hearted about what they did to my client after capturing him. Using tools they clearly originally planned to use on the witness.
So they're sadists? I'm getting confused here.
So is the defense, Your Honor.
What matters is that the witness has identified the defendant's captors as the 4 blue blood victims that he is accused of murdering.
Makoto did establish that much, but something about this attack still bothers me. I'm gonna put Makoto on the stand specifically to identify the victims. Is it possible that the men who attacked them weren't Creek's paw?
Okay. Let me save, because this is important. They were attacked by Creek's pod. They were attacked by some other party. Okay. Oh, man. Okay, so is the truth... Well, we don't... Is that actually the truth that they were attacked by Creek's pod? Because I remember that they did say something to that. Or was it because I remember them saying something that they actually were trying to kidnap him. I don't know if I want to raise though. I don't see that. Oh, I accidentally pressed something. I don't see that working for anybody. But I mean, if we do stay, we are saying that Sosuke is definitely could be implicated because he would have a motive to kill them, right? Okay. Damn, the blind is -1. Okay, you know what? We're gonna save scum. So if this is bad, we're just gonna redo it. But maybe this will go good for us.
The witnesses' descriptions are vague. How do we know these attackers were the same 4 victims that ended up in the lower wards many hours later? We know because I say so, and it's obvious, and they are!
Eloquently put. Hardly, but what else is there to say? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. This is the only time. No, I can't say that. This is definitely not the only time I'm gonna save scum. But I guess my gut was right. I don't disagree, Your Honor. The men who attacked Makoto and took Sosuke captive were the same ones who ended up dead that night. But two questions do occur to me. Why were you safe on that service elevator if Sosuke surely collapsed the very moment it shut? Wouldn't these men have pursued you by any means necessary? That is... My streamer save scums? Oh my god, I know this is so crazy. Don't look at my Ace Attorney streams. Oh no. I can answer that, Your Honor. When the police inspected the scene, they found that the control panel for calling that elevator on the 61st floor was... 61st? 61st? What is that? Floor was broken. Smashed, in fact. The attackers would have had to manually pry open the doors to even attempt to chase after Makoto. And that would take remarkable, modded strength. Did you mash the button that forcefully, Sosuke? I may have used more force than necessary. I wasn't exactly trying to hold myself back at the time. You hit the controls hard enough to break them? Ow, ow, ow! Sosuke! Oh my god, Sosuke! Oh my god! So the Blue Bloods couldn't pursue you further, and instead elected to take Sosuke captive. A Sosuke in the hand is better than a Makoto in the bush! What the fuck? The head of Makoto security would surely have made for an invaluable source of information for planning future attacks. Were he made to talk. Are you denying that? No, but I would like to ask the witness one other question. Why did you get off the elevator in the first place? What are you... Hey! When I mentioned in the lobby earlier, that's... The mics might not be picking up on it for you, but from where I'm standing, I can't help but overhear my client groaning about how badly he failed you. That's not evidence or testimony, and so should be stricken from the record. But we get the idea. So, was bailing out early the defendant's big brain idea? As head of my personal security detail, such a decision is ultimately his to make. However, that decision may have been influenced by his knowledge of the fact that I am not especially comfortable in enclosed spaces. What the hell are you doing? Are you trying to humiliate him? In part. I'm also trying to insult you. Damn! Had we simply waited, we would have remained safe, but I was not comfortable and felt very warm. So it was not a tactical failure on Sosuke's part per se. Just an error of judgment. Counselor Morgan. Morgan. Sorry. I love Sarah's eyes too. What's up? You can disconnect the call if... Ask me another question. Ask me about how bravely Sosuke defended me. Huh. So that's your angle? We can't all be as naturally gifted at extracting invaluable testimony out of spoiled brats as Emma. But I can follow her example, insult their pride, and these Ikadia snap back. As reliable as any knee-jerk reaction. And in Makoto's case, with infinitely less resistance than if I had simply asked him to testify. It's usually the lawyers who do the asking and the witnesses who do the answering. This is not very realistic. We asked that the witness testify for the court in more detail about exactly how violently Sosuke fought off the attackers. And I guess the people don't object, even though it seems super extra. No, the people don't object, Your Honor. Emma's playing passively. Either I'm onto something here or I'm walking into a trap. Screw it. All in on the former. Oh boy, needle guns. Sosuke Med Records. Oh, needles. What was Sosuke Med Records again? Shit. What is this new? Is this part of a patch? Because I don't remember getting to look at the the evidence before this. I think I remember not liking that, but whatever. It might be fixed. I don't know. But I'm glad that this is here anyways. Where is his medical record? Okay, his injuries. Yeah, and then all the stuff that... Yeah.
Sosuke was outnumbered from the beginning and protected me the whole time. It didn't matter that we were ambushed or that the Blue Bloods had projectiles. Sosuke took up Yoru in both hands and swatted their needles out of the air like a graceful swatter. Fought off 4 attackers without sustaining a single injury. Mock him if you dare for being captured. But that's not a failure, not by any general's definition of the word.
Bro, I think he was hurt. Bro, I think he might be a little hurt, actually. Hearing Makoto describe Sosuke's heroism, it's almost more impressive the second time.
He definitely fought without a care for himself. And there's evidence to show it.
Yeah. Hey, bruh. I don't know about that one. Boom, baby. I love her nails. Ooh, Emma.
Unscathed is the last thing anyone call my client after the events of that day. One look at his medical data from when he was arrested will tell you that much.
What are you getting at, counselor? The defendant's injuries were sustained at the Blue Blood's den, not at Cream Tower. The police didn't find even 1 drop of blood anywhere near that service elevator.
Well, that is a miracle. A bloodless ambush. But the fact that no blood was found makes it all the more painfully obvious what actually happened to the elevator panel.
The elevator panel?
My client broke half the bones in his left... My client broke half the bones in his left hand, smashing it up.
Did you really?
I might have. There was a lot of adrenaline at the time.
Did you not form a proper fist? Is your wrist not in alignment with your forearm?
As I said, Sarah, there was a lot of adrenaline. Do you deny that his medical record clearly shows his left hand was broken?
Your Honor, what does it matter that the defendant broke his left hand closing that elevator? It changes nothing about the witness's testimony.
Hola. His testimony stands. His testimony has been contradicted.
Okay, I mean... Okay, so it... Okay, so only the right hand? Okay, well that's interesting. Don't you have to use 2 hands to wield a katana? Aww!
Sarah, Adana, it seems like my goat is afraid.
Thanks for the biz. Hey, thank you so much. Aw, love you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. It seems like it's a fraud. Man, okay. My gut is to raise, because I feel like it's been contradicted a little bit. Because I'm thinking like you have to... Okay, let's try it.
Of course it does.
How so?
Come on! I had a reason for that! I had a reason! I hate this game. Fuck you!
Mello. What is this, Danganronpa, but more suits? Yeah, more suits and more gay and more murder. Yeah. And no school. It's more like a lawyer kills people for fun and is also gay and hot. Yep, that's the game. True. Sosuke's hand getting injured doesn't change what we learned from this witness. But it does change the evidence you had him identify for the court. The katana?
Yoru. Yoru.
Its name is Yoru? Oh, we get it.
Makoto's testimony.
Oh my god, that's so long. Did you have a point to make, Counselor?
There's something odd about the katana that's been entered into evidence. Something that makes no sense, given what we learned about the outcome of this ambush. Namely, the swords...
Bro, like, I literally looked at this.
Namely, the fingerprints that were found on the sword's handle. Fingerprints belonging to Sosuke's right hand.
You're contradicting yourself, Counselor. We've already discussed how it was your client's left hand that he broke closing off the elevator. There's nothing contradictory about him using his right arm to wield the blade. It can be like this because Sosuke has two hands!
The people are correct. The sword found at the scene of the crime has my client's right hand fingerprints on its handle. Despite the fact that this witness just testified that Sosuke was swinging it with both hands.
Oh my god, am I right?
Oh, that's not him.
Like a graceful swatter, specifically. Oh, yeah, he did say that. So did the little tyke misremember? It was a chaotic situation where he feared for his life. The court should hardly expect him to have kept track of such an inconsequential detail.
Have you already forgotten my magnanimous powers of recollection? Her tactics from earlier backfired. I'll have you know I can recite all my subordinates' birthdays down to the hour.
Write them all down so I can calculate their moon signs later. Okay, bro.
It doesn't matter whether the witness is mistaken about Sosuke's grip, Your Honor, because we have a much bigger issue to address. Why this sword has only my client's fingerprints on it.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Makoto testifies that Sosuke wielded this katana in his defense. An act of bravery that ended with my client face down on the floor of Crane Tower. He later woke up, held captive in the lower wards. I'll state the obvious here and say while he was unconscious, he was moved. And so the sword we have in the record must have also been handled by...
Freaks! Probably, right? Oh! Bye, Jamie! Good luck with the rest of work. Have fun lurking. Creek had it on his table. Am I right or am I right? So, like, why not?
Oh. Our poor victim, Creek, of course.
What do you mean?
Sosuke was not unconscious at Crane Tower. That means that someone else must have brought his sword down to the lower wards. And the only people who had the opportunity to do so would have been his captors.
You mean his victims?
Withdrawn.
Withdrawn? To retract a comment to indicate the jury should disregard it. Okay. What the freak? The defense is forgetting a fairly simple fact, Your Honor. There's more than one way to hold a sword. A worm? For real, a worm. In case the defense needs it clarified, Creek could have simply held the sword by its scabbard. Scabbard? But he couldn't have, because didn't he, like, use the... Hold on, going back to Makoto. Going back to Makoto's testimony. With Yoru's sheath. Okay. Okay, if I'm... This... I have to remember what the scabbard of a sword is. Hold on. I haven't thought about the scabbard of a sword since fucking Steven Universe. scabbard. Oh, it's this sheath. Okay, yeah. No, I guess then he couldn't have, right? That's what I'm thinking. Okay. Also this music, God, it's so good. I love this game's music. You can't have like a a lawyer slash detective slash mystery game without the music being absolutely gas. Fuck you, he couldn't have.
That's not possible, Your Honor. Makoto has already testified that Sosuke left the sword scabbard with him when he thrust him back into the elevator. Yoru's sheath was thrust into my arms, pushing me back into the elevator, and I landed on my rear.
I see. And since a cursed sword can't be resheathed until it's tasted blood.
Yes, Your Honor, very well said. We would have found the scabbard at the Blue Blood's den if Creek or his men had taken it with them. Instead, I imagine Makoto took it home.
You think he took key evidence from his own assault and kept it from the police?
Of course I did! As if I would trust officers of the law to properly handle a family heirloom as precious as Yoru's sheath.
Impressive insight, Adonai. But what does this actually mean? Is there some mistake with how the evidence was handled?
There's no mistakes here. This was all done with intention. The intention to frame my client.
Whoa! Ooh, new CD!
By putting his fingerprints onto that sword after the real culprit had already handled it.
Ooh! What a load of bullshit! And the crowd goes wild. Though it does make a certain kind of sense.
Because it's the truth. I did wipe the katana's handle down after removing it from Trey's throat. Sosuke just happened to be foolish enough to pick it up himself afterwards. It's frustrating having to keep all my best cards up my sleeve this time around. But the look on Emma's face when I do get to toss them out is...
Oh! Oh! Hey! Is it new? Oh! Get the harpsichord! Okay! The people are more than ready to counter if it pleases the court.
Oh.
The defense has made an admirable effort to barrel ahead with this theory. Admirable, but predictable. With the foundation this week, charging ahead and hoping the court won't notice is the only option. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh shit! Oh! Dude, this is so good! Right, this is fire! I'm sorry! Hopefully the music isn't too loud. Let me know if it is. Okay. Let us speak of the facts. I'm sorry, I'm flustered. Let us speak of the facts. This Creek character led a targeted ambush on the heir to the House of Anu, knowing he'd be guarded by a full security team. The Blue Bloods successfully sabotaged and intercepted Makoto's elevator at the precise floor they wanted, meaning they knew exactly where he'd be and when. And they brought with them drugs capable of disabling a veteran with military-grade mods. Planning and attention to detail may be foreign concepts to the defense. Morgan's face. But they should at least be able to recognize them. So is the defense seriously suggesting that after all that preparation, Creek's pod wouldn't bother to wear gloves?
I'm glad you asked so nicely.
What makes you think Creek's pod wouldn't wear gloves? This is fire! Okay, but we're looking at. Hold on, this is evidence we're looking at. I forgot. I think. I mean, I feel like maybe where my brain is at right now is that they wouldn't need gloves if they were trying to sedate him from afar. I don't see how Yoru would do this. I don't see. I mean, maybe because they did have like a no masks rule. But I don't know how Creek would play into not having gloves, so I'm just gonna try. Did I save? I'm gonna save. Okay.
We don't need to speculate about whether they wore gloves or not. Not only have Creek's fingerprints. Oh my god! Not only have Creek's fingerprints on a weapon recovered from the crime scene.
That is. I guess that's right. Yeah, I didn't really think about it that way, but you know what? It got me here. A pretty good point, actually. Guess these guys are sloppier than we thought.
Those blackguards were barefaced when they attacked us. Idiots. As if there wouldn't be repercussions for their actions. The least they could have done was disguise themselves. Strike that from the record, Your Honor. Along with any future comments that suggest that Ikania will want revenge against these victims. I was only speaking of plain truth.
Creek was their leader, correct? If even Creek wasn't wearing gloves, it's hard to imagine that none of them got their prints onto Yoru.
Unless the sword was, indeed, wiped down at some point afterwards. Like right around the time the true culprit was looking for Sosuke to take the fall.
It's a spicy theory.
It's just that, Your Honor, a theory. A far-fetched, unstable theory that stacks presuppositions upon each other. Like a flapjack chef substituting quantity over quality, my bad. For real though! I'll rephrase. This inconsistency is easily answered without jumping through the defense's absurdly arranged hoops. That's a little better.
No, talk more about the flapjacks. I need to hear more.
We already know that the Blue Bloods have successfully taken down the Akari as head of security. And we already know that they went out of their way to take the defendant captive, despite him not being their original target.
Furthermore, as the defense has belabored, okay,
we know that they decided to take a useless piece of steel with them from the scene of their crime.
Useless?
If we ask why, the answer is obvious. Because orcas are superstitious and immature. They wanted a trophy. And what is there to do with a trophy? Other than polish it?
The cloth from Creek's desk. I knew she flagged it in the arts for some reason, but she thought this many steps ahead.
The defense is correct. The sword was wiped down before Sosuke took it up as his murder weapon. By the very same victims he'd go on to claim with it.
That is a completely logical explanation, damn it.
How do we respond to that, Adonai?
We check. Yeah, we don't. I can't. It makes perfect sense.
So, does that mean that she's described what actually happened?
Not at all. I wiped up the sword myself because my prints were on it. Same as I wipe my prints off of every other... Right. If I can't find fault with Emma's conclusion, I need to find fault with the logic that led her there.
I see. And how do you do that?
By adjusting my aim. As the people say, Your Honor, no one's fingerprints but my client's are on the murder weapon. That only makes sense if he's guilty, or being framed.
And there's no evidence to suggest that he's been framed, because his captors had valid reasons for wiping off the sword.
That's true. They did have good reason to wipe off the sword. But that's not the murder weapon I'm referring to.
The bat, right? The bat, right? Right.
Take a closer look at the bat found at the scene of the crime.
Our forensic scientists have looked at it quite closely, I assure you. And they found many prints on it. Many partials. Meaning that that bat was never wiped down.
Exactly?
Exactly. No! Okay, it was the... Okay, then it was... Wasn't the... No! Wait, why is... It's polished as a trophy. I don't know why this is here!
This gun is the murder weapon I'm referring to.
What?
The police are confident that this Magus is the gun that was used to kill Tanks and Krieg.
And your client was arrested with it on his person. And it has your client's prints on it.
But it was owned by Tanks.
The record shows that Sosuke's are the only fingerprints on that doohickey. So that means this Tank's guy had never laid a finger on his own gun? It's entirely possible that Tank simply liked to polish his gun too. Phrasing.
So he was polishing it right up until the moment his captor grabbed it and used it against him?
More phrasing.
Was it before or after his internal bleeding that my client took the gun off Tanks without him even laying a finger on it first? Before or after being tortured that he got the gun with no struggle?
They could have wrestled over the gun while he was out of reach.
Tanks had no injuries besides the hole in his chest. How'd he get into a struggle and not get so much as a scratch?
The likelihood of that scenario would seem to come down to the order in which each individual died, no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then perhaps we ought to hear some more detailed testimony about that.
Of course. The defense has no more questions for this witness, Your Honor. We don't object. Hold on. What are you saying?
Okie dokie then! Closing that connection!
I said wait! It's Sosuke!
Aww. Makoto seemed to be in good spirits, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he was his usual irreproachable self. So how can you find something about that to be depressed over? I'm ashamed that he testified at all. His appearance here runs the risk of sullying the house's visage with my mistakes. Well, he couldn't exactly slip the subpoena by claiming he had homework to do. You, of all people, should understand that the house doesn't have to appear in court if it truly doesn't want to. A fine levied on your accounts is always preferable to a smudge staining your reputation.
But he did testify.
Yes, and he no doubt went directly against one or more family elders to do so. He should not be incurring debts for my sake.
So he put himself at a disadvantage for you. Do you think Makoto would want you to apologize? Or do you think he'd want you to thank him?
He's young. He doesn't know what he wants yet.
Damn! Police, I don't see no cops here. Well, one's dead for sure. Yes, she's back!
I forgot the voice I did for her.
I think it was okay. Yumi Sato, medical examiner. Yumi! Sarah. Oh! Dr. Sato, we are very grateful for your work sorting through the large number of reports related to this case. Oh my god. Ew, yeah. 5 bodies, all high priority. Had my head underwater for a good while there. we'd prefer not to tax you with repeating every grisly detail. But if you could, would you please walk the court through the time of death for each victim and the manner in which they were determined? Right. From the top. Ankartan, aka Tanks, had a mishmash of street-legal and chop-shop mods along his forearms. None of them were particularly up-to-date, but they were all working and they did monitor his heart rate. Tanks' heart stopped at 9:44 p.m. The cause of death was... just reliving it. The slug had a hollow design, intended to shatter inside the target. There's no mistracking. Oh, sorry. Whoa, mistaking. Mistracking. What is mistracking? There's no mistaking that he was killed by his own gun, the Magus, from a distance of 1 to 2 meters. Next up is Sungmin Trey Trench. He also had relatively low-end mods installed, and they show his heart stopping at 9:45 p.m. He died from exsanguination. Blood loss. This game makes me feel dumb every time I play it. Blood loss resulting from a laceration across his neck by a sharp metal blade. That wasn't the only injury his body sustained, though, was it? No, it was not. Posthumously, right? That's how you said it? Posthumously, his skull was... Saw no evil, oh yeah! What was the other one? It was Tank's autopsy. Yeah. Heavens Miller Smiles received a puncture wound straight through his jugular vein. Then the blade was withdrawn, exacerbating, there you go, blood loss, and he was likely unconscious within seconds of falling to the ground. Miller had mods, but had evidently gone to great lengths to remove all monitoring tech from them. Guys, I'm making up words! Guys, sorry, I'm rewriting the script. And he was not found with any electronics on his person. Using purely medical means, I narrowed his time of death down to a window of 10 minutes between 9:40 and 9:50 p.m. Even though I killed him third and he was the second to die. That brings us to Creek. Yes, like Tanks, Lakers Creek Kristoff was shot once with a hollow slug from a distance of 1 to 2 meters. However, the slug penetrated just beneath their solar plexus and failed to completely shatter when it impacted a low-end spinal brace mod. As a result, Creek didn't die immediately. It is my medical opinion that Creek would have slowly bled out over the course of about 5 minutes. Their mod did not have biomonitoring capabilities. So, like with Miller, I've done what I can to narrow down the time of death to a 10-minute window between 9:40 and 9:50 p.m.
So he was barely modded? And he stayed conscious that whole time anyway?
Damn. Okay. Okay. Spinal brace, huh? But we do have one other context clue to work with. This data pad was found very close to Creek's body, and technicians confirmed that it requires Creek's fingerprints for most functions. That means it's unlikely that anyone else would have been able to manipulate it. And we found that the last action taken on it was an attempted dark card transaction that failed at 9:44 p.m. What could cause a dark card transaction to fail? Either they hit cancel or the card itself was jostled, interrupting the scan. As if the data pad was suddenly dropped? Speculation. How much qualification does one need to understand that card readers can be finicky, Your Honor?
Turn up! Chips like tin tap. Just let me buy the damn balloon animal, you clown!
So, taking that digital evidence into account, Creek must have been shot almost at the exact same time as Tanks. Thank you. There's one more body you examine for this case, yes? Officer Tariq Chopin. I didn't need to determine his time of death. As a patrol officer, he had a standard suite of police-issued biomonitors. So we know that Officer Chopin's heart stopped at 10:14:04 p.m. Triggering an automatic 1099 alert, officer down. Lighting up that crime scene like a firecracker
ensuring every cop in the city would come running, royally pissed and safeties off.
Chopin was impaled through his back by a long, thin blade. It severed his aorta, and as a result, he died instantly. To summarize, then, we can conclude that Tank's gun was taken from him before 9:44 p.m. He and Creek were then shot with it. Their attacker, out of ammunition, took up a sword and stabbed Miller in the throat, before slicing into Trey's neck. This individual then proceeded to posthumously crush Trey's skull by striking it so hard that they shattered a baseball bat, as Creek bled to death on the other side of the room. Finally, when Officer Chopin entered the scene, they stabbed him in the back, before finally being apprehended by Officer Rogers. That's all correct, as far as we understand it.
So now Rockford's put together a timeline.
Probably helpful for the jury, putting it on chronological order. But have we actually learned anything new about the culprit's actions?
We have. I brought her on the stand to establish the culprits.
Starting position, I don't think that's true. Methodology or starting time? Probably starting time? Probably, I'm guessing starting time. Or, no. I think it might be methodology.
She wanted to establish the culprit's methodology.
As in what tools they used for each murder?
That was new information to me. Was it new to you?
Okay, then it is. Okay. My god, girl, go with your gut. Okay, think about this a little hard. What about the... Was there something new about the position? My queen. We're looking. I don't think it's the position. I really don't. But I'm looking to see just in case I missed something. A low-tech corrective measure for a childhood injury or growth defect. Ooh. Interesting. Indicate DT3, but no signs of the disease seem to exist in this time. Whoa. Okay. Stabbed and impaled from behind. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Is it the position? Oh, shit. I guess I missed that.
Sato's established within the room the killings have to have started.
Correct. Because Creek and Tinks died first, and they were both shot from within 1 to 2 meters. We know that the culprit must have started taking action right by the desk.
And not by the door to the holding room.
Indeed.
So the likelihood that my client broke out from there
is not very high at all. Check, baby! Ooh!
Yes?
An abundance of DNA evidence establishes that the defendant was indeed held in the other room. But clearly, he didn't remain there. His captors must have taken him out to question him in the main room, and dragged him in front of the desk where Tanks' gun would be within reach.
You're the one who's reaching.
You have evidence to the contrary? A better explanation for how he got out of where he was being held?
can't exactly propose that the real killer set him free as a scapegoat. The forensics are clear. My client was gagged and bound in that room.
Was. But clearly they had to cut him loose to question him. A mistake that ended up costing them their lives. Do you think that's true, Sosuke?
I'm not positive, of course. But my body is telling me that I was held in that room from the time I woke up until I got myself free. Emma's theory about the blue bloods being dumb enough to let Sosuke near a gun isn't perfect. But it's still a theory. I don't have jack shit to counter it because not even Sosuke knows how I let him out.
If the defense has no objections, then they'll just have to take this L and meekly move on to their cross-examination.
I hate her.
Adonai, that made you sound very feeble.
You've developed a habit of only using we when I'm winning. Fix it.
That made us sound very feeble?
Why do I have to get roped in? Emma's already established a timeline and an order of events. I could pick at the details, but she's close enough to the truth already. I know the truth firsthand about every death except Chopin, and in his case, Emma and I are on even footing. So what's my advantage? What do I know that everyone else is mistaken about?
So they're saying he bled out. And that was it. I don't remember that being the way that went. Okay, so yeah, the bat was barring the door. No, they're saying posthumously he was hit with a baseball bat. They weren't wrong about the timing, were they? I didn't see any problems with the timing. They were right about the murder weapons, I think. Because Tanks got shot with his own gun. Trey. Yeah, she cut his throat and then beat him. Okay, maybe... Man. I don't think it was causes of death or timing, so I'm feeling it has to be murder weapons. I could be wrong. Right,
the murder weapons. Everyone thinks Miller was stabbed in the neck by the katana. I'm the only one who knows my knife was there.
Oh, shit! I totally forgot about her knife. Well, my gut was right.
There's gotta be a way I can use that information to my advantage here, without revealing that I have it or how I got it. I'm walking a razor's edge here. At least it's thematically appropriate. The defense is ready to begin our cross-examination, Your Honor.
Oh boy, okay, here we go.
Dr. Sato, you were asked to examine all 5 bodies. Did you visit the crime scene?
I did not. Have not. Photos and other ARCS data were provided to me to aid in my examination. Surely the defense isn't objecting to a little virtual work?
Of course not. After all, had anything been added or removed from the crime scenes, the ARCS would show it. There's no fooling it once it's been set up.
Oh boy. Blade wounds?
Victims Trey and Miller were both attacked with a blade. Exactly how fast did they die?
Trey had his throat slashed and blood found on his hand suggests that he had time to reach up to his neck in response. But he would have quickly stumbled back and collapsed into the floor dead. Miller wouldn't have lost much blood at the moment his neck was punctured. For that kind of wound, the weapon acts as a stopper. But once that stopper was removed, he would have lost consciousness in mere seconds.
And while the blade was still in his neck?
If it was there for more than a second, he too would have reflexively reached up, presumably, and try and grab the blade.
Ooh. Is there proof he grabbed the blade? Is there any evidence that he tried to grab the razor-sharp katana lodged into his neck?
He had his own blood on his right hand, but there were no cuts on it.
Because he grabbed the knife's handle, not a sword's edge.
So it stands to reason that the blade was withdrawn very quickly. By the time his hands reached up to his neck, it must have been gone.
One of many small inconsistencies with this katana theory I can shine a light on. Will that be enough?
Okay. Chopin's cause of death? I mean, that was the katana. But, Wait, there's a plus? Oh, wait, that's new, right?
Stabbing Miller's neck so precisely and so fast. That would be quite the feat of swordsmanship.
Stating a conclusion, Your Honor.
Comments withdrawn, quick as a blade. Have you ever seen a stab wound like the one that killed Miller, inflicted by a long blade, and wielded in one hand by a man experiencing heavy blood loss?
No, I can't say I have. Now, whether that maneuver is impressive or improbable, well, I'm a doctor, not a fencer.
And Sosuke doesn't own a rapier.
Does the katana fit the puncture wound? I guess.
Did you find that the stab wound on Miller's neck fit the sword that the police recovered?
Approximately.
That doesn't sound conclusive.
The entry wound is slightly smaller than I would expect for such a precise stab. The sword hand must have barely trembled, but it's within tolerable ranges. Furthermore, DNA on the tip of the sword is a match for Miller.
Damn it. It's because I happened to drag it across where his blood had dripped.
And, of course, there isn't any other implement at the scene that fits the wound better.
No, of course there isn't.
Okay. I guess...
Stabbing Miller's neck so precisely and so fast. That would be quite the feat of swordsmanship.
Stating a conclusion, Your Honor. Oh, wait. I guess... Okay, we tried to press, right? I guess that...
Two individuals suffered gunshot wounds. You found that both matched the mage's firearm that's been entered into evidence?
I did. Shrapnel is by nature unpredictable, but the scale of destruction does make it pretty hard to mistake for anything else.
Didn't exactly learn anything new there.
The shrapnel been there already? That's cray-cray.
Could you speak on a bit more about the manner of Officer Chopin's death?
Well, to reiterate, his body was found with a katana stuck through his back. It had punctured his heart, killing him. There was a massive blood loss at the scene. At least in part because the wound in question was agitated, I suppose I'd say. Agitated? What does that mean?
What do you mean by agitated?
Honestly, as though after the impalement the blade was moved around inside the wound, as if it had become stuck and someone was struggling to remove it.
One didn't mention that Sato found this wound odd. to hear her specifically say the blade had become stuck. That's interesting. Thank you, Dr. Sato. I think I can speak for all of us when I say I found that very enlightening.
Blackjack, baby. Oh!
Dr. Sato, you just testified that Officer Chopin was impaled from behind. Did this occur on the spot where his body was found?
Yes, it did. The body shows no signs of being moved.
I'm curious then.
Oh!
What was there for the sword to get stuck on?
Huh? Well, if Chopin was in the center of the room, sitting upright, I mean, it wouldn't have gotten caught on the air, right? Bone, perhaps?
Surely you examined the wound inside and out. Did you see marks on his ribcage where the blade had caught?
No, I didn't.
Then it stands to reason that the blade didn't get caught on anything inside Mr. Chopin.
It got caught in the floor.
Pardon?
You need to take greater advantage of the arcs, Counselor Morgan. Learn to flip things on their head. Entire rooms, if need be. I love this girl, goddamn. Eat 'em up, Emma. If you had, you'd see that there's a clear indentation on the floor that lines up perfectly with Mr. Chopin's wound. Oh no, the drag!
Morgan, your fucking dragging of the sword is eating your ass.
How did you think the tip of the sword got chipped?
You're saying the sword got stuck in the floor?
That's what the facts are saying. Do you disagree?
Oh, I mean, I don't think it could have got stuck in the floor, but maybe? I mean, shit, maybe. Man. I don't think the marks that she did are deep enough for the sword to get caught on the floor. Neither did when she dragged it. The sword didn't get caught either. So... Of course that's not possible. He was stabbed in the back while standing up, so... Oh my god. My bad. It's okay, I'm just losing chips. It's okay, I don't have to save scum that.
So he would have then collapsed face first into the floor, bringing the sword with him.
Well, yes, if you want to get technical. I suppose if Chopin was impaled, then fell face first.
It makes perfect sense for the sword to get caught in the floor as he collapsed on top of it.
So we can conclude that after being impaled, Chopin fell over with the sword still in his torso, driving the sword into the ground. Then his attacker aggravated the wound by trying to retrieve the sword from his corpse. Does that sound right?
What? Are you asking me?
Sort of, asking the room, I guess.
Well, I believe I can answer. What you're describing makes sense, Dr. Sato, but only up until we consider again the fingerprints on the sword handle. If my client really did impale Tariq Chopin and get his sword stuck doing so, why would he try to retrieve it with only one hand?
Because he had to retrieve it with one hand. You yourself already elucidated,
I think that's how you say that,
that the defendant's left hand was broken when he destroyed the elevator panel in Crane Tower.
His left hand was too damaged for him to even grip a sword? That doesn't square with this piece of evidence.
Whoa! Locked and loaded, baby. Yeah, cause, yeah. Cha!
The mages?
How would my client's left hand be too damaged to grip his sword? And yet also capable of gripping the mages?
That oddity is hardly impossible to explain. We've already determined that the mages was fired twice before the sword was used at all. Firing such a weapon with a broken hand surely rendered his left useless.
That's...
It is difficult to wield a sword with a damaged hand, isn't it, Sosuke?
Historically, even the loss of a pinky on your non-dominant hand was considered enough to render you relatively defenseless.
Is that why Yakuza would offer to cut off fingers as recompense for their offenses?
That's right, Sarah. In fact, cut the chatter and save the history lesson. He had to pull the sword loose with one hand because his left was useless? Looking at all the forensics pulled from the katana, that's... Your Honor, the people claim that my client had to use one hand to retrieve the sword because his other hand was disabled. But does the evidence actually suggest that?
What do you mean?
Forensics performed of the katana found my client's right hand fingerprints on the handle. But what grip are the prints a match for?
Let me just give it a quick think here as I meticulously analyze the position of each finger. A normal grip. The grip is normal.
Do you mean to say that the thumb is facing towards the blade, Your Honor?
Well, yeah, but isn't it easier to just say he held it like normal?
If my client only held the sword with his right hand normally, Your Honor, that would mean he held the handle like that even as he tried to jostle the blade free from the floor it was impaled in.
Which is far from impossible. But if, Your Honor, the court has questions about exactly how the defendant was positioned when he was found standing above Officer Chopin's corpse, I believe the people's next witness will be able to answer all of them.
That can only mean it's finally time to face off with the arresting officer. Chopin's partner.
Very well. Then let us summon to the stand. Lone name not found.
What? What?
Is that a family or a given name?
What?
Yeah, got one big ol' error right here, and it's a classic. Witness not found. Literally. Here.
What? Damn, that's rough, Emma. Ooh.
He had hours to get here. What the hell could possibly be...
Our star witness is a no-show?
Is this good news or bad news?
Like hitting the jackpot on the world's sketchiest slot machine. Feels good, but you get the feeling that the staff is gonna make you pay for it.
Idiotic.
Pay for it when? Fine. I'll finish it myself.
Right about now.
Perhaps it's for the best then, Your Honor. Ooh! Oh! You can save the court the trouble by wrapping up things here and now. The facts are simple, and the defense has failed to refute them. Thus, the people call for summary judgment.
Already?
The defendant is the only one with his prints on the gun. He is the only one with his prints on the katana. His own employer testified to this court that he was attacked and captured by 4 of the 5 victims. He was found and arrested standing over the body of a dead cop, before 2 more officers arrived and secured the scene. As the only living person left at the scene of the crime, there was no one else who could have committed these murders.
I'd be lying if I said it wasn't entertaining. It is only because she's blind. She was thrown off by her witness flagrantly and its constant stop. She was firing off a lot of planes into its possession. Where do I counter it?
Okay. Whew! Okay. We know that... we know that he's not the only suspect. I don't think we can counter the DNA evidence. So, for me, it's only these 2 that could be. So let's try the first one.
She just claimed that Sosuke is the only one who could have committed these murders. She can't possibly prove that. She can't prove that there wasn't anyone else there that night because I actually was.
Morgan, internal voice is kind of hard to hear. I'm sorry. The music, for some reason, that music is louder than the rest of them.
I apologize.
And unlike her, I can prove the possibility of another party being present without having to reveal their identity.
Let me see. Okay, I turn my mic up just a little bit.
The people are mistaken, Your Honor. My client wasn't the only other person there that night. And there's evidence to show it.
Yes. The dark card. What's that? The dark card found lodged in the Creek's datapad?
Yes? Game?
Okay.
That's right. The perfect payment option when neither you nor the businesses you frequent like attaching names to faces. We've already discussed that within moments of Creek's death, a transaction was being attempted on his datapad. A transaction made using his dark card. But whatever for? Perhaps some of the handful of illicit substances that were found at the scene of the crime.
Oh crap, yeah, I almost forgot. These guys are drug dealers.
And drug dealers get customers, Your Honor. Customers that can be very temperamental when things go south.
Are you trying to suggest these killings were the result of a drug deal gone wrong?
I mean, they sort of were.
A deal made in person at a blue blood stronghold?
Dark cards require a passkey and a fingerprint. The card would be useless if its owner wasn't physically present for the transaction. A transaction that might be abruptly canceled if tensions boiled over.
A potential buyer would likely have been across the desk from Creek.
The same spot in the room that we've established that the killer must have started their rampage.
Cute idea, counselor. But there's no meat to it. We know that Creek was using the datapad before he died. Game? Creek, okay. And we know that the dark card was processing a transaction at the time. But for some reason, you've made the assumption that he was selling, when the simplest explanation is that he was buying, using the dark card that he owned.
The dark card belonged to Creek?
How will you respond?
I don't need to respond with evidence. I just need to point out the flawed evidence she's constructed her argument upon.
I mean... I feel like the dark card...
Characterization, Your Honor. People are claiming that the dark card and the evidence record belong to the victim, Creek. Despite the fact that it has no fingerprints on it either. Whoa! New Morgan song!
Oh, I gotta turn down the fucking volume. Yeah! That's what I like to hear. What? Oh, reading the card explains the card. I got an achievement. I might need to turn it down more. What?
If that dark card had belonged to Creek, he would have had to insert it into his datapad with his teeth.
Yuck! So, who did the dark card belong to?
Perhaps a customer who didn't like his prices.
A disgruntled customer could have wiped their prints off the card to hide the fact that they were ever there.
That's absurd. If a customer brought that dark card with them to the crime scene,
Why the hell wouldn't they take it with them when they left?
it was stuck in the datapad.
They could have pulled a little harder. They could have taken the datapad with them. Who would leave behind something that valuable?
The card is worthless to everyone but its owner.
To whom it could be priceless. Why would they choose to leave it behind?
The answer to that is simple. If I'm honest, we are discussing the possibility of a deal gone south. What could cause that in the first place?
Aggressive negotiating tactics?
Or a customer who couldn't pay.
What are you... This customer could afford a dark card.
And yet they couldn't pay.
hold on. You're trying to say all these deaths, all this carnage. You think it's all because their card got declined? Hard to live down that kind of faux pas. Yeah, Morgan's card literally got declined. Valid crash out, I think.
Murdering 4 or 5 people in order to skip paying your bill is pretty aggressive. But if you need your fix... Was there any indication that contraband was taken from the scene of the crime?
Your Honor, that is difficult to say. Without knowing their inventory before the crime occurred, we cannot rule out the possibility. That was a little lackluster of a pushback. Is she really that thrown off by this witness playing hooky?
Well, I hate to do this because I love spending time with you all and having a physical body and being insulted. But it does seem like I have to declare recess while we wait.
Perfectly reasonable, Your Honor.
That's the most romantic thing I've ever heard.
What?
Court is now in recess.
For real. All right. Well, we survived the first round.
So, Aurea Holdings is not part of House Icaria?
No, it is. House Icaria is a compromise of the literal Icaria family, the Icaria Financial Group, and Aurea Holdings. But each of those parts is a separate identity from the others.
That is very confusing.
No, it's... Well, yes, it can be confusing, but it protects us.
Protects the IFG?
No, protects the house from itself.
If everyone in the Icaria family was a member of the IFG, and the IFG was called the Icaria family, that'd be much simpler.
I know it would be simpler, but that's... Who the hell is this guy to keep Rockford waiting? Oh, she's mad! Are you addressing your question to me? I've never met the man. Well, he's met you. Smacked you upside the head and cuffed you. If you say so. I told you I don't remember anything after I walked out of that holding room. Chime in at any time.
Apologies, Adonai. I was just trying to answer your question. Who the hell is Officer Rogers?
You find his socials or something?
I found a news story attached to a live feed. He's shaking hands with some men at the top of some stairs.
Right now? What's the headline?
City council members thank heroic officer for his service. Bro!
Oh, well, that makes sense. How can it? Emma's outranked. If the politicians decided now was the time to do photo ops, she doesn't have the pull to go against them. Are Officer Chopin's parents there?
Yes, both his fathers were present.
Adoptive fathers. Okay, homophobic. Homophobic homo. Are you trying to make me feel better? Adoptive or not, they are his parents and their pain is real. Of course. But that pain would be equally real if they weren't expressing it in front of those cameras, don't you think? If you're feeling guilty, Sosuke, please get it out of your system before the trial resumes. I don't feel guilty. Even if I did kill that officer, I wouldn't lose sleep over it. But that doesn't make it right.
Taking a life?
Parents having to outlive their children. And here I thought you'd be all about filial piety. You telling me you wouldn't take a bullet for your patriarch, Daisuke? Of course I would. And force him to outlive his son? How could you? Adopted son. From a branch family. Do I need to point out how badly you're contradicting yourself? Daisuke Ikaria could have let me waste away when the rest of the Hayakawa branch was killed. Instead, he placed me at the right hand of power. Seat of honor. A subservient seat? All seats are subservient. Not the one at the top.
I don't know the rest of your birth family. Oh, I didn't know the rest of your birth family died, Sosuke.
Retaliation for the fall of the leaves.
Quite the dignified way to refer to the Ikaria killing all those blue bloods 30 years ago. Anyway, it was my understanding that that was a complete and total victory. The kind that left the blue bloods incapable of counterattacking. Very nearly so.
Do you disapprove of what happened 30 years ago, Sosuke?
Of course not. The barbarity of the house's enemies left it with no other choice but to act. No way out, huh? By the way, I was asked to pass along a message to you. If you're given a way out, take it. Who told you that? Ooh! Well, I would not say that's fucking evil. That's fucking evil, and I will not say that. But I want to tell him the truth. I don't want to lie to him. Dude, that's evil. That's evil if you say that. Actually evil. She said her name was Mirai. Who is she? A powerful member of the house on the side of Aria. Slow down, loose lips. I didn't ask for her whole life story. What? Oh, sarcasm. Sorry, I'm just surprised. Surprised that she would actually take a personal interest in the outcome of this affair. So, did that message mean anything to you? I'm not sure. You're a terrifically, oh my god! You're a terrifically helpful client, you know that? There's something you should know about me, Morgan. About the Hound of Ikaria. I didn't earn that title as a bodyguard or head of security. And I didn't learn how to kill in the military. The Hound of Ikaria is the house's personal assassin.
Uh-oh.
What happened to the House of Ikaria being refined? Elevated above their criminal past? The house is elevated. That status has granted it more enemies than ever. Enemies that need to be taken out silently, but undeniably.
Undeniably?
What I do is send messages. They need to be received by the right people, and they need to know who it's from. You kill so that the other houses and the nobility know it was the Hound, but can't prove that House Ikaria was responsible. Their own pride over being able to handle things internally, and their humiliation at being outplayed ensures the deaths stay out of the papers. So the entire police force can descend on a jaywalker caught by a reflection off a dash cam. But the nobility gets to wave off the surveillance state with a perfumed handkerchief, flaunting how the rules don't apply to them. Like I thought, a very pure expression of power. So all that talk of you being Makoto's head of security, that was all. Well, true. I have been Makoto's head of security for the past year. Did your courier business dry up? Circumstances around Makoto had changed. I was asked to step in and fill a role. And what you said about guarding the previous heir? Waving your katana around as soon as you could walk? The circumstances were different then, too. Why tell me now? Because now that I've seen her, I don't think Rockford will have missed it. No, why didn't you tell me yesterday, the first time we met, when I could have actually prepared for this? Clearly you've got some deeply held desire to rot in prison, since you won't help me win this case. What happened in the last 5 minutes that you've suddenly got cold feet?
How did I?
Yesterday, I thought you were just some outsider, and over their head, who would surely drown if they knew who they were defending. Today, I think you're an outsider, in over their head, who could stay afloat with a lifeline. Thanks for the heads up. 5 minutes notice really comes in handy when your client asks you to catch a bullet. Excuse me. Yeah, valid. I'm sorry to disappoint you too, Sarah. I can't imagine you're pleased to be defending a self-confessed killer.
I don't know what you went through when you were a soldier. And I have no idea what you've gone through as an assassin. yesterday, didn't I suggest I shouldn't speak about those kinds of things since I have no experience with them? I don't know if she's right about that. But soldiers and assassins do exist in this world. And they are still people. And I think I would be sad if I couldn't talk to any of them. On a related note, could you catch a bullet so ski, Katia?
No, Sarah.
But you're a cybernetically enhanced martial artist.
Bullets are very fast.
That is true.
I could probably catch an arrow if I knew it was coming.
Tell me more.
They're so cute! Oh my god, they're adorable. I love them. Oh boy, are we back? So, you and your partner were the second officers to arrive on the scene?
That's correct, ma'am. When the 1099 went out, my partner and I were relatively center city. We were within jogging distance of the site after an elevator ride, so we proceeded on foot. Rogers still hasn't shown. Emma must have rushed to London to adjust the reshuffled docket. I assume he was rushed. He does seem somewhat distracted. We arrived on the premises at 10:21 p.m. At 10:27 p.m., we assisted Officer Rogers in completing his arrest for the suspect. What did that involve? Reading rights to an unconscious man?
That's a good bit!
We helped Rogers finish cuffing the suspect, is what I meant. His hands were shaking. Look at her in the background.
Your witness, counselor?
I'd like to ask Lynn why he wasn't explicit about all this yesterday. But complaining about a detective not being forthcoming with the defense isn't exactly a winning strategy. He didn't hesitate to show me his involvement with the mafias yesterday. What's he got left to hide?
Are your body cams on?
Dumb question, detective, but did you have your body camera on? Officers aren't required to turn on body cameras in responding to an emergency, counselor. And detectives aren't required to wear body cameras at all. Like I said, dumb question.
Ooh, what about your partner?
But by any chance, did your partner have a body camera going? Perhaps out of a characteristic abundance of respect for the rules? Matter of fact, I believe she did. So, of the first 4 of our city's brave policemen to arrive at the scene of a crime, only one of them thought to turn their body cam on. It's my understanding that Rogers couldn't turn his on, as it had broken earlier in the week. And Tariq Chopin? I don't know why he didn't have his on. Does Emma know? Does Officer Rogers? And how did you and your partner go about clearing the building? I took point and my partner covered me, checking the rooms behind us as we went. It was tense, searching the rooms with that racket blaring from upstairs. You were still searching for suspects even though there was a 1099 on the 3rd floor? Rogers had already reported the manner of his partner's death, counselor. We weren't gonna run upstairs to try and defibrillate. How was that report made? Over comms around 10:17 p.m. Is it common practice to separate from one another when responding to a 1099? It's one of several valid approaches the department advises in critical scenarios, homicide situations.
We're gonna say,
why were you and your partner in Center City that night, detective? Well, to be honest, I hadn't eaten dinner yet and I was really in the mood for some kind of hot soup, you know? My partner was kind enough to indulge me on taking a drive. That's all he's gonna say? It's not like I can call him a compromised witness just because he was in the area, but... What the hell is there even to press when his answer's that simple? I'm almost tempted to...
okay, hold on. I want to know, was the soup good? Was it good?
Was the soup any good, detective? I never got any in the end. Had this hole-in-the-wall place in mind, but when we got there, turned out that they'd gone out of business last month. It had been a while since I had stopped by. I guess I always knew they weren't that successful, but honestly, I thought it'd lose some of its charm if it got popular. Maybe if I hadn't been so selfish, they'd still be here. You never know how much you'll miss that 7 out of 10 restaurant until it's gone, you know? Yeah.
Your Honor! Irrelevance? It's not relevant, but it is poignant and deeply human. I'll allow it. Or I won't punish it at least. Now ask a real question!
Right away, Your Honor.
Okay, that was worth it. That was worth it. Okay, I'm gonna press this then.
Did you ever lose sight of your partner? I might have. So she might have lost sight of you.
Speculation, Your Honor.
If I can't see you, you can't see me. That's not speculation, Your Honor, just grade school logic.
She did not just... Overruled. Spill the deets, witness.
Yes, me and my partner were separated as we cleared the building. For more than a minute, I'd say. Interesting. Thank you for giving us all of that to chew on, Detective London. Come on, give me a break. I was trying to be helpful. No, I mean it. Blackjack, baby.
Blackjack! Ooh, baby!
I'm especially interested to hear you describe how my client was unconscious and helpless by the time he first appeared on any body cam. Shall we review that footage together? I wonder if we can pinpoint exactly how many wounds he received in between his arrest and when his mugshot was taken.
Redirect, Your Honor.
Really? What is she doing now?
The prosecution called Detective London as their witness and asked their questions. Ad and I just had a chance to ask her own questions during the cross-examination. After the cross-examination, the people can redirect if they have additional questions for the witness.
So it isn't just one for them and one for us? More like an eye for an eye for an eye, until justice is blind and bloody. She wants another round. Why? Stalling?
Detective London, are you aware of an ongoing police investigation for a figure known as the Hound of Icaria?
I thought she was gonna say heartbreak. Not stalling. Approach, Your Honor.
Wait, do I finally get to say the line? Hold on, this is happening too fast. Okay. Oh, so you're a pariah and they're already here.
This Hound of Icaria is obviously some kind of case file that the Organized Crimes Department is working on. Detective London isn't qualified to speak on it.
Homicide, original crimes. Is there that big of a difference? It depends on the career of the witness in question. Detective London, for example, spent 6 years in the Organized Crimes Unit. Oh!
He what?
You didn't know that?
Where are you taking this, Emma?
I hate to admit it, but I think I need spoilers as well. If you ask him about this, what's he gonna say?
That the Hound of Icaria is an assassin who leaves calling cards at each of his kills, terrorizing the house's perceived enemies without shame. And that the lead suspect in those cases is a man around Sosuke's age and height, with gray-blue hair, a modded spine, and a large tattoo of a dog across his back.
Dude, my girl is pissed. She's hella pissed. Hold on. I have to drink more water.
Sosuke, you vain son. Oh, wait. Sosuke, you vain son of a bitch. You got made with your shirt off.
He sneezes. Bless you.
You cannot let the jury hear that, Your Honor.
I really want to.
If organized crimes wanted to arrest Sosuke, they should have done so already. He's on trial here today for these 5 counts and nothing else.
The defense has once again claimed that their client is merely some veteran who's been victimized by greater forces. But the police believe that he's in fact the deadliest soldier the Ikaria have at their disposal. That's not irrelevant.
No, it's just prejudicial? They have to. No, it's just prejudicial as hell.
Girls fighting! Stop fighting! But obeying the legal precedent, but the tension, the human drama, he'll just be given a summary. You'll just be giving a summary. The case file won't enter the record.
So you won't even give me the chance to object to the evidence? Your Honor, if you do this, the jury will be spoiled within seconds, and I'll have my client served up a minstrel before the day's through.
And some other lucky adjutant will get to have all the rest of the fun. I've severed the jury's feed for the time being. I'd like to hear exactly what the witness has to say before ruling on his testimony's inclusion.
But Your Honor, the gallery
is not your concern, nor a concern of justice. This trial will remain open to the public until such a time as I or the state feel it shouldn't be. Decision made! Thank you, Your Honor.
Shit. Sosuke, you might be fucked, dude. You might be absolutely fud. What just happened? The jury's gonna take a bathroom break. Emma will get to ask her questions, but in all likelihood, the adjutant will make sure they never hear the answers.
So we aren't any worse off?
Sosuke might be.
What do you mean?
This gallery's filled to the brim with cops. They all think he killed Chopin. If London regales us with all the tales of the Hound's exploits on top of that.
Don't worry, Sosuke. They can't do anything to you here.
Because we're in a courtroom. I won't spend the rest of my life in this room, Sarah. And even if I could, I wouldn't.
Detective London, if you would, please testify as to the... Oh, for real?
Your Honor. What now?
Hey, Rockford, that witness guy who flaked on you made you look dumb?
Yes?
He's finally here!
Oh. Say bye the fucking bell. Say bye the fucking bell, dude.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no more questions for the witness at this time.
Really? But
The redirect fizzles out. Counselor, you want to snap it up?
No, Your Honor.
Dang, Detective London! Nobody wants to talk to your ass! Miss Rockford let it go.
She doesn't hold anything back in the courtroom, but only because that's what gives her the greatest chance of victory. If the jury wouldn't hear it either way, and she has no need to stall for time, she won't... Oh my god, sorry! She won't stroke the coals for the fun of it. So if you hadn't fought against that redirect up until the very last moment... Oh, that wasn't Sosuke!
So if you hadn't fought against that redirect up until the very last moment...
Bullet caught, huh? Yeah, nothing impressive about putting my arm between the gun and my...
Heart?
I was gonna say stomach.
The analogy seems weaker somehow.
I love them. Oh boy. Oh boy, did I finally get to see this guy?
Here he is.
The man of the hour. The hero who put a stop to the Hound of Ikaria and brought justice to the city over the loss of its favored son, Tariq Chopin. Patrol Officer Rogers reporting for duty. You don't have to say that. Sorry then, just, reporting for duty.
Name and occupation.
Patrol Officer Huey Rogers. Occupation... Patrol Officer. Former partner of Tariq Chopin. Apologies for earlier.
It's fine. The court understands that the city council had need of you.
When I said my name wrong, it won't happen again.
And your tardiness.
What's that?
Being hours late to this trial.
Did I not set a reminder?
Does seeing him here in the flesh jog your memory at all?
No, not at all. I think this guy would be pretty hard to forget.
You must have sustained quite the concussion then.
As an appetizer. From what I saw, he's lucky nothing important leaked out of his ears.
Shall we begin, Officer Rogers?
Right, from where?
The start.
Oh, well, it was a pretty boring, normal night. Me and Chopin were just driving our route, windows down. He was always getting car sick if the windows weren't down. Then around 9:45 or so, my partner heard shots fired. So off we went.
What does that mean?
Well, shots echo down in the lower ward, so I wasn't too sure about the direction. But my partner was confident that it'd have something to do with the Blue Bloods. That area is a known hotspot. As we neared the street, we saw people slinking away from it. We got the message. People can sense that kind of trouble even when they don't know it. Something bad had gone down and no one wanted anything to do with it. Front door wouldn't budge. I peeked around into the alley, but the fire escape was out of commission. And my partner, shot clean through the door handle. Chopin was that determined to get inside based on some echoed gunshots and a few context clues? Suppose context clues are most of what I use to find the place too, but...
So when you arrived, the only way into the building was locked?
Yeah, and so we had a strong reason to believe the shooter was still in the vicinity. I was in favor of waiting for backup at this point, but my partner, he was convinced the place was dead empty anyway. Oh, already, sorry. So he was moving a good bit faster than me right up until we got to the second floor and we heard a loud slam.
Slam?
What kind of slam?
Like slam? Or like slam? Or like slam?
I don't know, it was loud though. And Chopin gets all deadly serious and then says I stay and he goes ahead. Up to the third floor. After a bit he yelled down to me saying everyone was dead and I should come to join him. That's when I heard another heavy thud. I didn't know it was the sound of my partner's body hitting the floor. But I put two and two together when I saw that man there standing over him.
Let the record show that the witness has, finally, identified the defendant.
If you heard a noise at a crime scene, the natural conclusion would be that you were not alone.
But if Chopin thought they weren't alone, why would he insist on splitting up?
To avoid crossfire? Huh? Crossfire? Hold on, I'm just gonna click this to see what it means. To fire on one another. Oh, okay. That's what it means. Okay. I don't think that's true. I was like, crossfire with what? Oh, they're guns. Duh. To search quickly?
By splitting up, they could search the building more quickly.
Damn it! Wait, how many am I at? It's fine.
For him to tell his partner to stay behind, he must have been trying to prevent escape, I guess. That's it. Chopin must have wanted to split up so they could cut off possible routes of escape. Perhaps I can shed some light on the late officer's actions.
With more speculation?
With some helpful theorizing! Capped off with hard evidence. Officer Chopin explicitly told his partner to stay behind. And the only reason he'd do that is if he thought it'd let them catch an escaping suspect.
Why would he think a suspect was escaping if he heard a noise upstairs?
He wouldn't. He'd only think a suspect was escaping if the noise he heard was...
the dumpster. Right? There was a loud slam.
A noise that came from the alley.
What kind of noise would that be?
A noise like the one I was treated to when Detective London clumsily shut the dumpster out there. Hey now, it left my ears ringing too, you know.
What are you even talking about?
I'm talking about an exit plan. In other words, how the real culprit managed to flee the scene.
How does a dumpster lid relate to some imaginary suspect's great escape? 1963, 162 minutes.
The only way to get from the third floor to the street without going past the two cops clearing the building would be going down the fire escape and into the alley.
A fire escape that's broken.
So no one could climb up it, but anyone could jump from it into the dumpster below.
Oh, yeah. I can kinda see it.
Oh, my bad.
That must be a dead pixel you're seeing, Your Honor. Were there boot prints on top of the dumpster? A dent in the lid?
Well, that's...
No, of course not. So there's no proof, no reason at all to think that anyone jumped down onto it. And no reason for us to entertain this train of thought.
Damn it, that's... I've got nothing. Even if there had been damage to the dumpster, I could never prove it was caused by a fleeting culprit.
Adonai,
I'm thinking.
I know, but might this not possibly be the time for you to stop thinking? And instead, flip the go board?
No, not quite, Sarah. Not quite. It's the chessboard. Not quite.
Like you've told me to do before?
You're horribly misquoting me and the greatest game of all time. But Emma says there's no proof that anyone fled the crime scene. But if there was proof of that, what would it look like? Proof that someone was in that room when the police first arrived, but not there when the police got to the third floor. They would have had to take the fire escape if Rogers never saw them. And they couldn't have taken the fire escape without first opening the window. It's been bothering me since yesterday. I was sure those windows were closed when I left, but they've been open ever since the scene was secured. And I can't testify to that. The one time I know the truth and I want it to get out, but I can't admit it without screwing myself over.
Adonai? Any luck?
Pardon the interruption, Your Honor. I have no objections at this time.
Then the witness may continue?
Please do. But rewind a bit first if you could, since we got off topic. And don't spare any detail. Tell the court exactly what you saw, felt, and heard that night.
Of course. The witness is a trained officer of our city's prestigious police force. He'll gladly recount every minutiae? Is that how we said it last time? Minutiae for us. Line by line.
Like, every detail?
Especially the irrelevant ones!
Sir, yes, sir. I did get a little in my head just now. Better listen through his whole testimony at least once before I start looking for holes. It was a quiet night, but then my partner heard gunshots. We headed for the nearest known Orca hotspot and arrived to find the building dead quiet. Door was locked. I checked the alley, but I didn't see another way in. So Chopin shot off the lock to the handle and we entered. Followed some kind of loud music up the stairs, and there was a slam and my partner bolted upstairs. About a minute later, I heard a thud from upstairs and came running to find the defendant standing over my partner's dead body.
Something stand out to you, Adonai?
Yeah, my ears perked up a bit.
This thing is perked up, is it not?
Oh, what? Let me focus. Pricked up.
Now let's do some fire escape front door. Oh, hello, Greg. I heard both of yous. Good evening, good evening. He said it was a quiet night. I don't think that's it. I think I might have done the wrong one. Yeah. Flirting right in front of me! Normies! Get over rules! Sorry, I almost skipped that. I think it's supposed to be the other one. Flirting right in front of me. It was... Yeah, it's not the fire escape. Durr. Okay. They're talking a lot about the 5 senses, so I'm guessing it's... Oh, it was that. It was that. Go. I was trying to... There's another one. Hopefully this is it. Bam! How could you have arrived to find the place dead quiet when there was a sound system blaring on the top floor? The witness must not have heard the sound system. This is a noisy city, even the lower wards. But he did hear the music. He described it in his testimony just now. Yeah, bro. So the building was dead quiet when you were outside, but you could hear music from the first floor. Well, yeah, I heard the music pretty much as soon as we stepped inside. Only after you stepped inside? Yeah, sturdy door, I guess. Your Honor, the witness has established that the front door was very secure and tightly locked. There's nothing strange about blocking out some amount of sound. But it blocked out, like, all the sound. Once the door was open, the music was booming. The scene of the crime was a known Blue Blood property, yes? A safe house apartment complex of sorts, as I understand it. They must have made a number of modifications to the premises. That front door certainly looked like a newish addition. Check. Maybe they redid the windows, too. I don't get it. I don't mind stating it plainly, Your Honor. That building has been thoroughly... debugged? Thoroughly debugged, Your Honor. Not a hidden microphone or secret camera inside. If they're hidden or secret, they wouldn't be inside to begin with. Yes. I know, I'm not used to me being the straight man either. I was like, why is she cutting in? What I meant to clarify is that the building where these crimes took place has been soundproofed. Okay, thank you, game, for thank you, game, for not punishing me. You think the building was soundproof? I know it was. I experienced it myself, stepping out of the lower wards and into its dingy nightclub vibe. That would explain what the witness experienced, wouldn't it? Perhaps, but that wouldn't explain the building being dead quiet when they arrived. Not unless the window next to the sound system was closed. Showed my hand a bit there. She knows what I'm gunning for. Counselor, asking the court to accept that the building happened to be soundproof is not the flawless argument you're making it out to be. The window in question opens to the alley. Rogers could have easily missed the noise coming out of it. Even though he already testified that he checked the alley before his partner shot the door open. He might have merely neglected to mention that he heard music at the time. Huh? Music in the alley? I would have noticed that kind of thing, right? Fast on the uptake, this one.
I'm looking at this arcs from every angle I can, rotating cues in my mind as fast as my programming will allow. And I'm still seeing a crime scene where the windows are open! What am I doing wrong? There's a trick to it. Try focusing on just a single cube first. Once you've got one spinning consistently...
Yes, Your Honor, the windows were found open. It's a contradiction.
The windows were closed when the officers arrived, but open by the time Rogers got to the 3rd floor. That means that someone must have opened them.
Someone not currently on trial, Your Honor.
You should stretch before attempting mental gymnastics that intense, Counselor. You claimed the windows were originally closed. That only opened at the last moment as some mystery individual fled down the alley. But we know Creek was standing in front of those windows when he was shot. And we can see where his blood landed, on the sides of the windows that face into the room when open. If, as you claim, the windows were closed when he was shot, then his blood somehow ended up on the wrong side of the glass. Your theory is flawed. A far-flung fantasy with nothing other than Officer Rogers' poor hearing to support it. All the actual evidence shows that at the time of the murders, the windows were exactly as we found them, flung open.
Her logic isn't faulty, and I can't overturn it with any given piece of evidence. But I can point out the flaw in how she's presented her evidence. Thank you for the advice about taking full advantage of the arcs, by the way. But trust me, there are some things that are best understood by visiting the crime scene in person.
What?
Helps keep you from getting flipped around.
Okay.
Fingerprints on the handle. Apologies, Your Honor, I'm just confused.
Game?
Why is Miss Rockford talking about those windows? As if they swing open.
What are you talking about?
Those windows don't swing into the room, they're pulled to the side.
What?
Didn't you see the fingerprints they found on the handles? One look at that should tell you which side of the glass faces indoors. Funny, wasn't that in the arcs?
Oh, this is some very chic interior design I'm seeing. Very wabi-sabi. So if the windows only slide parallel to the walls,
it wouldn't matter whether they were open or shut when Creek was shot. The blood would always end up on the same side.
Hey! I said I finally got the windows lined up right in the arcs. You didn't say that. At least not aloud. Thank you for always listening, Sarah. But I said it just now, so whatever.
What do you mean lined up?
The blood splatter!
Oh.
Looks a lot nicer now, doesn't it?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
That is so inappropriate for an adjutant to do.
But it's gotten us all on the same page. We can all reasonably conclude that the windows were closed when Creek was shot, at the very least.
Yes. Though when they were next opened is something you'll fight over, I'm sure! Now, this ARCS data could just tell me whether the windows are actually soundproof.
I doubt the arcs could simulate that accurately for you, Your Honor. But if we re-examine the scene for that specifically, it would be simple enough to...
Oh! Waste the court's time?
No! Okay, I went on way too long for how I should, so I'm gonna leave it here on a cliffhanger. I am so sorry! Dude, I'm supposed to leave right now. I wanted to... Listen, I wanted to stop, like, when we started this, but I was so invested. I was so invested. I'm sorry. I have somewhere to be, unfortunately. So I played till I couldn't anymore. I promise you that. Please come next week. Did I save? Yeah. Please come next week for the continuation. Also tomorrow, more AI the Somnia Files, so
Come on along with me. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow. Safe travels back from heaven. Goodbye!